What we're going to try to do here is we're going to try to go over some points of canvassing and some things that we've learned. And Sam has learned how to overcome objections very well. And there's also some obstacles that you run into when you run into people that have a misunderstanding about the candidate, or they don't want to give you the time or something. And so we just want to talk about some good pointers and advice for canvassing.
Okay. First thing is, you have to understand that this is something that works for me, and you can use some of these techniques or not. You have to be comfortable with what you're doing. Very first thing I do, I go up, I knock on a door, just hang out, wait for them to open the door. The first thing I say is, "Hi, my name's Sam. I'm canvassing for the upcoming presidential primary." I don't say Ron Paul. I don't talk about any candidates or any issues or anything like that, because the people that we're going after, we're not going after Ron Paul supporters. We've already got all the Ron Paul supporters. We're going after people who are undecided or who are already decided on another candidate. Actually, the people that are decided on another candidate, you can get those are gold. Because if you get somebody who's a Giuliani supporter and is just set on Giuliani, and you talk them out of it and you turn them to Ron Paul, not only do you pick up a vote for Ron Paul, but you take a vote away from Giuliani. So that's a double bagger right there. So what I do is, again, I say, "Hi, my name's Sam. I'm canvassing for the upcoming presidential primary." Then they sit there and look at you like, kind of deer caught in the headlights a little bit. And oftentimes they don't say anything. You just go right into it. Do you have a candidate that you like? Or you say, I'm canvassing for the upcoming presidential primary. Are you registered to vote? Yes, I'm registered. Oh, okay. How are you registered? Democrat, Independent, Republican? Oh, I'm independent. Okay, great. Do you have a candidate that you like? Oh, no, not really. I'm just kind of undecided. Still looking. I haven't really had time looking at all the candidates. Have you heard of Ron Paul? Yeah, I've heard of Ron Paul. I've heard a little bit about him. Well, what do you think of it? That's one thing. Or you can say, or they go, "Yeah, I've heard of Ron Paul." You say, "Okay, what issues are important to you coming up?" Well, healthcare, the war. It's always the biggest ones you're going to get are healthcare, the war, and the economy. And Ron Paul is a slam dunk on every one of those. Healthcare, he's a physician. As I say, did you know Ron Paul's been a physician his entire adult life? Oh no, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, he was an OB/GYN, raised 4,000 delivered 4,000 babies. With that,
Flight surgeon, even.
Flight surgeon, yeah. With the 4,000 babies, I usually throw in a joke. They joke that the way he got elected to Congress in the first place was that he delivered everybody in his district. People usually laugh about that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to develop a rapport with people. You have something in common with everybody that you ever come across in your life. I don't want to sound like Barack Obama, but there is some common ground with everybody that you ever meet. And what you have to do is find that. And, in New Hampshire at this time, they have been inundated with ads and canvassers and cold calls and all this crap, and they're sick of it. But most of the people that they're talking to are getting paid, don't really give a shit give a crap about what they're doing. And so they just kind of go through it like an automaton, like a robot, and people are bored with it. But if you let your personality come through and get them to talk about themselves and engage them, you can slam dunk them. You can bring them over to our side. You can convert them from one to another.
And now, what do you do when you have an objection? If someone says, I've already decided on a candidate, for example.
First thing I say is, great, congratulations. I've been doing this for 2 weeks now, and most people still do not have a candidate. They still haven't decided on a candidate, and the primary is coming up. So good for you. Who do you like?
I like Giuliani.
Oh, okay, Giuliani. Can you tell me how he addresses the issues that are important to you?
I don't know. I just like him.
Well, what do you like about him? His stance on the war, terrorism?
He just seems like a really good leader.
Some people say he did do a pretty good job, post 9/11.
I think, I really like what he did in New York. I think that he really turned that city around.
Okay. Well, one thing that I think is really important, and I'm going to go into this because I've never had somebody, spit out that, oh, Giuliani, he did a really great job, post 9/11. People don't say that, but I'll go with it. So at this point, I've got really nothing to go on because, leadership. Rudy Giuliani's not even that good of a leader, he's more of a dictator. But you don't want to argue with people and start telling them that guy's a dictator.
You don't say he's not a good leader and he didn't do a good job in New York. You don't want to argue at that point.
A lot of people spit out sound bites that they've heard from other places that they don't really believe, but they don't know what else to say and they heard it, so they spit it out even if they don't believe it. The thing you have to understand is if you argue with them on a point that they mention but they don't actually believe, they'll dig in their heels and fight until kingdom come. To resist being converted to your point of view. So you can't tell them that they're stupid or tell them that they haven't got a clue because they'll just dig their heels in. So at this point we've got a person who supports Giuliani because he did all these wonderful things even though you and I know he didn't do squat. Okay? So really what you can do at this point, and like I said, I've never encountered this situation with somebody like this, but what you do then is you pull out your pocket constitution, which you should have. And I'm going to digress for a minute and talk about that. This campaign and all of the libertarian fervor that it is generating is not about Ron Paul. Ron Paul is the conduit; he's the catalyst. But what it's really about is the restoration of the Constitution. And what I found in the 10 days of canvassing I've done is that people love the Constitution. If you consider yourself a red-blooded American, you've got a flame of liberty inside you that has been squashed down and covered up, and it's kind of just sitting there smoldering. But if you pull out the Constitution and fan that coal, it's going to burst into flame, and people get fired up again. So you whip out your Constitution. You go, "Have you ever read one of these? Have you ever read this?" And people's eyes, they go like this. Their eyes bug out a little bit, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I studied that in high school." Well, do you support this? Some people, most people will say, "Oh yeah, absolutely I support it." Some people will get indignant like you insulted. Of course I support it. And then you get some people like, usually the ones that just graduated from some super liberal university. "Yeah, I kind of support it, but we'll forget about those people for now." So you whip out your Constitution to the Giuliani guy and you say, "Do you support this? Have you read this?" "Yeah, I've read it." "Do you support this?" "Yeah, absolutely I support it." Well, I personally think it's really important that the candidate that we as Americans vote for president supports the ideals enshrined in this document, and you just go on from there.
Like you said,
I'm like losing my stuff.
I know you're getting on, but that's good. That's the handling that objection. So you got a person that they favor another candidate, and you want to lead them back to Ron Paul without arguing with them,
right? Without fighting with them.
Yeah, exactly. So you've brought them back to you show them